Are you looking for ways to improve your data collection in clinical trials? Clinical trials are a necessary part of the healthcare industry. Clinical trials aid in the development of medical treatments, so collecting accurate and organized data is essential. Without it, the whole trial can fail. Well-organized data is important for good stewardship of money and resources, as well as having an impact on the lives of patients. I'm Raid, and in today's video, we have 4 ways you can improve your data collection in clinical trials. Let's dive right in. There are 4 main ways you can improve your data collection in clinical trials. Doing so will result in better data, cleaner forms, and a safer patient experience overall. One step to improve your data collection process is to use forms that automatically verify data. Intake forms are a crucial part of any clinical trial. Their purpose is to provide a patient's base level, then, throughout the trial, you'll build upon that base level with newly collected data. If data isn't correctly gathered, then you risk running a failed trial. This is how things work. Throughout the trial, clinical data is captured and entered electronically through a gateway and into the sponsor's database. From there, the sponsor can review the data for any inconsistencies or follow up with any necessary questions for clarification. The whole process used to be done by hand. Now, thankfully, technology is here to streamline the process and make data collection easier. In fact, the electronic forms have a fail-safe alert in place. Due to the rise of electronic case report forms, trial developers built alerts to catch any incorrect data before it's officially submitted. For instance, if values are entered that don't seem plausible, you won't be able to submit the form until the error is corrected. Data entry can also be restricted to a specific range using drop-down menus or scales if that's helpful. Let's put this in an example. If a patient accidentally submits their weight in a field indicated for height, the form will alert them and the data won't automatically be collected. Since that number is outside of the predetermined range, the patient won't be able to report being 165 inches tall by accident. Another helpful step in improving your data collection in clinical trials is to develop inclusive best practices. A huge challenge for clinical trials is finding participants. It's important to get a diverse sampling of participants. If you only test your medication on one small subsection of people, you may not realize how people outside of that small group will react to it. Start by developing inclusive intake forms. Word choice can make a huge difference in making potential participants feel welcome and in good hands. If you want to make your trials safer for LGBTQ participants, try making small, inclusive adjustments so they can better describe themselves in their intake forms. Think about it. There's a big difference between asking for a patient's legal name and asking them for the name they prefer to go by. Many trans and non-binary patients fall into this scenario, and it can be uncomfortable. A simple change can make a big difference. You'll also improve your data collection if you improve your intake forms for decentralized trials. These types of trials take place outside of the clinic or research facility. They help researchers see how the product works outside of the controlled medical setting. This type of trial also reaches larger groups of people. Decentralized trials were huge during the COVID-19 pandemic, once hospitals became limited to emergency procedures only. Although decentralized trials are necessary, they can be a bit overwhelming in regard to the amount of data collected. Not only does this data need to be monitored and managed properly, but it also needs to be verified. When it comes to decentralized trials, the patients are typically responsible for collecting a majority of the data, and they're not experts. Let's say, for example, a patient uses wearable tech to track their heart rate and then self-reports symptoms. There are going to be thousands of data points given to researchers throughout the day. As technology increases and the amount of data points goes up, clinical trials need to improve their data collection and management. If you're ready to improve your data collection for clinical trials, you should consider using Jotform. With Jotform, you'll have a reliable system at your fingertips where you can quickly collect, review, and submit data. In fact, Jotform has ready to use medical forms of all kinds. And even better, they safely collect and store data in compliance with HIPAA regulations. You can even use Jotform tables to keep a log of newly registered patients and track their progress throughout the course of the trial. There you have it, the need to know tips when it comes to improving your data collection for clinical trials. The important part of clinical trials is the result. Does your medicine work? Is it safe? The only way to get those answers is to effectively collect data. Let's review. Here are 4 ways you can improve your data collection for clinical trials. Use forms that automatically verify data, develop inclusive best practices, improve intake forms for decentralized trials, and utilize all of Jotform's safe and helpful data collection tools. Until next time, I'm Raid with Jotform. Don't forget to click subscribe to see more Jotform videos. Thanks for watching.